Good day, doctor. I'm Shelly. My metric number is 277488. Today, I would like to share about my moral judgment. In my opinions, I object to the GEG policy. Utilitarianism is the best moral principle to expand the weaknesses of GEG policy, because utilitarianism means that the most ethical decisions is the ones that produce the maximum benefits for the largest number of people, which means that the GEG policy is unethical and not suitable to proceed in the future because it violates the rights of the retailers, consumers, and the country. GEG policy will influence the retail businesses operations. The major restrictions on everyone's born after 2007 working in cigarette shops will drive up the operating expenses for these tidy businesses, leading to many of them going bankrupt. The survey that produced these findings were conducted by Mathematics Research and Information Sendirian Berhad. At the same space say that the regulations will make more challenging. Respondents think that smoking will not be stopped, and this demonstrates that the GEG goals will not be achieved because it will harm the retailers more than it will benefit them. As a consumer, they also disagree with the policy because it violates the fundamental and freedom choice of consumer. These results are based on the inputs from 318 Malaysians who participated in on-the-ground survey conducted by the non-governmental Retail and Trade Friends Advocacy Malaysian chapter, which work to protect the companies from illegal activity. 84% believe there are the alternative ways to limit frequencies of smoking. 88% say that the governments needed to ban individuals from smoking in expensive and illegal substances, while 63% indicated the education was essential, as well as 75% said that the prohibition was too strict and would make smoking by adults illegal. In short, GEG policy is not the true solution to the smoking issue. For the rights of the country, GEG policies cost the unexpected funds and time involved in government spendings. Despite spending billions of ringgit on tobacco control measures over a 9-year period from 2011 to 2019, the prevalence of smoking in Malaysia was only fallen by 1.8%. So in the long run, GEG policy will cause the tobaccos into the black market activity. So GEG policy will still need to consider based on the long-term goals of the country. In the conclusions, GEG policy should be cancelled and reformed into another ways because it just strengthens the rights of the community, which violates the rights of the retailers, consumers, and the country. That's all my point. I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
A very good day I wish the doctor. My name is CHIA with metric number 278032.
And today I'm going to present moral judgment regarding the issue generation endgame. The moral value when I used to make moral judgment in this issue is utilitarianism. And the moral value utilitarianism is actually a moral value focusing on outcome. The generation endgame is too extreme in stopping people from consuming tobacco. Strengthening law and regulations should be done in tobacco use, but not banned directly from certain population just because of the age. The generation endgame can be replaced with another method that is easier to accept by people, such as increasing the price and taxes on tobacco's product and proposing the disadvantages of tobacco in the packaging of cigarette or any tobacco product. Government should improve cigarettes packaging, such as printing tobacco side effect to alert people. The government stopped the generation born after 2007 from buying or purchasing any tobacco product is actually violating their consumers' right, because they are unable to purchase any tobacco product just because of their age. So this is actually an unfair statement for them. In Malaysia, cigarette generated around 5.2 million in 2020. Smoking and vaping are bad for our health. This is everyone knows. Tobacco also leads to more than 8 million deaths yearly. But the most convenient store is still selling cigarette and alcoholic drinks. It is undeniable that tobacco is actually bringing a side effect to humans, but government could profit from tobacco. Consuming alcoholic drinks and smoking does not break the laws and regulation in Malaysia. Even though it is bad for our health, consumers still have the right to purchase the product they want. Law and regulation cannot stop consuming from buying something regarding the age. The policy banning tobacco in population born after 2007 is unfair for them. As adults, we know the product's advantage and disadvantage before purchasing something. But the generation have the right to purchase tobacco, even though tobacco is harmful to health and may lead to health issues. The ban on purchasing tobacco issue is actually violates their right as a consumer. In conclusion, I object to generation endgame issue because it is unfair to the population born after 2007. And secondly, it violates human rights and may cause people agitation and resistance, especially the population born after 2007. Lastly, tobacco product is actually generating income to Malaysia. Regarding the moral value utilitarianism, and this is the good part in objecting generation endgame issue. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hello doctor, my name is GEAM and my matrix number is 278416, and now I'm going to present my moral judgment on this GEG issue, which is generation endgame. Okay. First of all, from my perspective, I do agree to the generation endgame policy, GEG. This is because I believe this policy is ethical and it can prevent tobacco addiction from new generation and turn Malaysia into a world new smoke-free country. From this GEG policy, I use ethics of care to make the ethical decision. Within theory of ethics of care, it places a focus on protecting and fostering real beneficial connections. Through the GEG policy, we can prevent our children away from smoking, which possibly lead to non-communicable illness, including cancer, heart disease, lung disease, diabetes, and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Not to mention, this is the most supportive factor to display the benefit of GEG. Okay, next. Every year, cigarettes cost nearly 27,200 deaths in Malaysia. Nicotine high rate of sickness and mortality cause effectiveness failure and a significant strain on the healthcare system. The National Health and Morbidity Survey (NHMS) 2019 reported that 4.8 million Malaysians who are 15 years of age or older use cigarettes at this time. According to the online public poll conducted by the Southeast Asia Tobacco Control Alliance (CTCA), 95% of the 457 respondents between the age of 18 and 24 support the GEG policy. Even though many ways used despite GEG, the rate of smokers had not decreased with the previous strategies. Okay, for conclusion, all in all, the issues raised by the minority must be considered, but they must never become an obstacle to the GEG policy because this is ethical for our children and for our next generation. That's all from me. Thank you.
Good day, doctor. My name is SOGENESWEREN and my matric number is 278481. And today I'm going to present my moral judgment. In my opinion, I object to the generation endgame policy, as it's a clear violation of one's own liberty. The government views them as incapable of having solid judgment about their own health. Therefore, the government makes the decision for them, much like a good parent. This is nonsensical and unacceptable to rational people. Many businesses, consumers, lawyers, and even politicians are worried about the implications of the Generation Endgame, and petition platform Malaysia Bersuara most recently collected over 660,000 signatures of people who are equally concerned. According to Prof. Sheikh Shahram Faruqi, a specialist in constitutional law, the right to personal liberty guaranteed by Article 5.1 of the Federal Constitution does not include the freedom to engage in conduct that might endanger others or place a strain on the public health system, such as smoking or vaping. Banning tobacco and vaping will restrict the freedom of individuals to obtain alternatives, increase illegal trade, as well as spark the use of cigarettes. In conclusion, I object to the Generation Endgame issue because a smoking ban, even if just for a limited generation, is a violation of one's individual freedom. Plain and simple. That's all for my part. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lim Ying, number matric 2794999. From my opinion, I object and disagree the existence of the proposed Malaysian CEG law for tobacco. It would be impractical to entirely outlaw tobacco use for those born after 2007. The fundamental rights should be recognized by all the Malaysians. If not, the legitimacy of law will be contested. The law must be fair for all generations and every group of society. The law cannot only benefit one generation while depriving it of another. Any government involvement in the market will simply stop the competitor ability to self-regulate and lessen its many positive effects. In order to decrease the number of smokers in Malaysia, the government should adopt a more successful method, notably by educating the populace rather than criminalizing it. The research shows that the smoker in CEG group will either turn to illegal cigarettes, get someone legitimate to buy the cigarette from them, or more cautioning, shift to other harmful substances such as drugs rather than quitting. These kinds of law for tobacco cannot eradicate them from smoking and indirectly increase people's chances of committing crimes. In conclusion, the proposed Malaysian CEG law for tobacco is unethical and this policy should not be legal. That's all for me. Thank you for your listening.
Good morning, Doctor. I'm SOGENESWEREN and my matrix number is 279803. From my point of view, implementing a Generation Endgame is not a wise decision made by the Malaysian government. I oppose the Generation Endgame issue because it is like controlling the choices of the future generation. The moral value I used when I made this decision is utilitarianism. It's a theory of morality that advocates actions that foster happiness or pleasure and oppose actions that cause unhappiness or harm. The use of tobacco should be subject to stricter restrictions and regulations but should not be outright outlawed from any age group. There are some alternatives for GEG to imply the stricter restrictions and regulations on the use of tobacco. Firstly, using the media to spread anti-smoking messages. It's becoming more important in the fight to lower smoking rates among young people. Since mass media may reach enormous audiences, their message has the capacity to alter not just individual behaviors but also social norms and institutional regulations, which in turn can affect the overall patterns of tobacco use among the population. Secondly, the success of a community-based strategy. The success of a community-based strategy to reduce smoking depends on its multidimensionality. The extent to which activities are coordinated to ensure they reach as many people as possible, and the pervasiveness of the community's commitment to promoting healthy lifestyle free of tobacco use. Tobacco age of purchase laws, smoke-free public places, media campaigns, and educational programs all work together to reduce the likelihood that young people will start smoking in their community. In conclusion, I oppose the Generation Endgame issue because it's ripping the rights of people born after 2007. GEG violates the future generation's rights and decision making. Not only that, this GEG effect on job losers, company closures, and a significant societal effect on lower income groups.